Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Charlotte. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Charlotte. Thank you so much for being here with me today. So before we get into this, I just wanted to say thank you all for your amazing, warm responses to my last video. I honestly was pleasantly so overwhelmed. I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting to be so well understood actually by a lot of you, and very touched and also very encouraged by the responses in terms of how I did affect you guys. So that is the kind of impact I want to have on you guys. I do want to be able to inspire you. I do want to make you feel like, good about yourself. I don't want to be part of this social media world that makes you feel inferior or like you need to be something other than who you are and what you are, or that you need to compare yourself in any way. The comments that touched me the most were the ones that were expressing that you felt seen and you felt heard through my sharing. So thank you guys for seeing me and hearing me, and thank you also for expressing that to me. That meant a lot, and so thank you so much. So today we are going to be talking about perfumes and fragrances, and as I said in my last video, which I put off for months basically, I did film a couple fragrance videos after that, and this one was supposed to be about summer fragrances, and summer has come and gone, of course. And what I want to share with you today are my updated thoughts about what I was going to wear this summer. So I wanted to let you know whether I actually enjoy these fragrances. Some of these were newer to my collection, so I would like to update you on whether I think they are worth purchasing and whether I'm glad I got them or if I regret them in any kind of way. Update you on, the ones that I actually wore the most, the ones that I enjoyed. Because a lot of these, some of them I had strong opinions on, some of them I wasn't sure yet. I was excited to wear, but I wasn't sure yet how I was going to wear them, or, they were newer to my collection. Also, I'll share with you some fragrances that I might not have shared in that part of the video. So basically, I'm going to be going back and forth between this non-face footage and my older footage, which will be my face to the camera with the fragrances a few months ago, which was towards the beginning of summer. And I will also let you know about some fragrances that may not have shown up in that footage that I actually ended up wearing this summer that I either didn't talk about or I didn't expect that I was going to wear, but I ended up wearing. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's just get into it. First, we have a fragrance that is not new on the market by any means, but it is newer to me. And it's one that I did smell when it first came out in stores, and I really, really loved it. That is Paco Rabanne Fame. This only lists like 3 notes, I think. I think it has olibanum or olibanum, just kind of like incense, jasmine, and mango. And my first impression of this, was just this very sweet, tropical, creamy, white floral, addictive, incensey sort of fragrance. Almost like a sweet, creamy, white floral gourmand fragrance for the summer. And that's still what I get. This to me is not something I would wear in the daytime. It's more of like a going out or evening fragrance. You could wear it in the daytime. I would just naturally gravitate towards this when I kind of want to make a sort of like sexy or going out sort of impression. It's definitely an intoxicating fragrance to me. It smells sweet. It smells creamy. It's a little bit incensey, super feminine and girly, and just a very easy reach for me, especially an easy summer date night sort of reach. I did take this on vacation last year, the end of 2022, or actually the beginning of 2023. I took this on vacation, and that's exactly when I wore it. I went to Mexico, and in the evenings when we would go out for supper, I loved wearing this. And I don't think I would have worn it, and I didn't wear it in the dead heat of the summer day. That's not really when I would reach for this. I want something a little bit more refreshing, but once the summer heat has died down over the day, your skin is still warm, it's still kind of hot out, but you don't have that blaring heat from the sun out. This is just amazing. Definitely gives you the tropical summer vibes. And again, that's just very creamy, lush jasmine, very sweet, creamy, still vanillic, you know what I mean? With that olibanum or olibanum. Olibanum? Do you guys say olibanum or olibanum? I've seen people say olibanum, but I always said olibanum, like aluminum. Maybe it's wrong though, so we'll see. Maybe I'll check it after. Actually, let's check it on Google. Pronunciation. Gotta wait for an ad.
Olibanum. Olibanum.
Olibanum. Olibanum. Okay.
Olibanum.
Olibanum. Okay.
Olibanum.
Okay. Okay. Olibanum. So anyway, that sweet resinous incensey sort of vibe with the jasmine and the mango. Now, the mango to me, okay, I'm getting it now. But originally when I first smelled it in stores, I really just got this sweet, lush, white floral jasmine, vanilla, incense quality. But it did feel tropical, and I didn't attribute that to the mango straight away. Which for me is a good thing. I'm not a huge mango fan, but in here it's okay. It just reads as tropical as me, a little bit juicy and fruity, but not, mango can go a little bit terpenic sometimes and a little bit too fleshy in a mango-y kind of way for me. So I like this. Mango actually, when I first saw the note, is what made me not as interested in this fragrance when it came out. And I was very surprised when I smelled it in stores because the mango in here is great. I love it. So yeah, if you love mango, you might love it as well. If you don't love mango, don't be afraid to try it out because I think it's wonderful. I will say this bottle, just first off on the get-go, has really grown on me. I used to think it was really gaudy and ugly and tacky and I didn't get it, but I think it's kind of unique and cute now. So anyway, this fragrance is a fragrance that is sort of new-ish to my collection, but it's not so new that I didn't already know what to expect from it. I really enjoy this fragrance. It's a very easy to wear, sweet, slightly gourmand, tropical mango jasmine fragrance that I really enjoy. So this one I did end up wearing, though I will say I did not wear it only in the evenings. I did wear it in the daytime, and I would say that's mainly because I didn't go out. Like, I didn't have any occasions to go out. But I do think it's a really good going out sort of fragrance. I will say also that every time I wore it, it did remind me of my vacation in Mexico, which is when I had first really experienced this fragrance. I had bought it and received it actually like literally the day that I was leaving, or like the day before, and packed it. So my first memories of this fragrance were in Mexico. So it definitely brought those memories back. I really, really love this fragrance. It's a very easy to wear fragrance for me, and I have no regrets on getting this fragrance, and I'm glad I got the 50 ml rather than the 30. I would like to have the 80, but on another note, I find the prices of designer fragrances absolutely ridiculous. Do you remember when Xerjoff was like the high-end luxury price tag? And right now, if you go online, you know, you can find Xerjoff for around $200, Xerjoff fragrances. Well, $200 is the going rate for a full size of a regular designer fragrance. So those prices are just a really big turnoff to me right now. Basically, that's why I don't have the 80 ml. I think the 80 ml, I don't remember what the price is, but it was something ridiculous to me, like $180. By the way, when I'm talking about dollars, I'm talking about Canadian dollars. So if it sounds inflated and you're from the US, that's why. Yeah, the prices are just absolutely ridiculous. And little mini rant here, I really wanted to maybe pick up the Kayali fragrances, like the new Kayali fragrances, but you guys, like, and like Burberry, Goddess, but like, what are these prices? Like Cataliya, I was actually starting to feel like, oh, you know what? I really love that their prices are actually quite reasonable compared to all these other fragrances. Now the 10 ml on the new fragrance, on the new one that came out, is $51 Canadian. $51. I remember when their first 10 mls came out, they were 26, I believe. Might have been 29, but I think it was $26 Canadian, and they just keep going up and up and up. $51 for 10 milliliters. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not worth it to me. And It's a little bit depressing realizing that and having a semi-fragrance related channel. I say semi because it's been fragrance related, but this is just another reason that I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. Like, I don't have those funds, and I'm not going to use the little funds I have to spend on an overinflated price of a fragrance. And there's just tons of fragrances coming out all the time. So I'm not saying I'm not going to buy fragrances. I'm tempted like everyone else, but more in a regular consumer kind of way, not in a way where I'm like, oh, I'm going to go and grab all the newest things so I can share them with you on my channel. I can't do that. I can't afford to do that. And yeah, I can't afford to do that. But anyway, yeah, that and the Burberry Goddess, like the full size is $200 Canadian here. It's ridiculous. Anyway, mini rant aside, that was Fame. Really enjoy this fragrance. No regrets. Luscious, creamy jasmine, sandalwood, a little touch of incense, that mango, which is just done so well to me. It's adding a nice, juicy, fruity, tropical touch, but it's not too terpenic, which is what mango can do sometimes. And it's the aspect of mango I don't really love, and it's actually what makes me kind of like not go for mango fragrances or like a green mango or anything like that. I don't love that. So yeah, mango done in the way that I enjoy. Really enjoy this fragrance, and yeah, that was Fame. By the way, I will note down in the description bar, obviously everywhere you can purchase these, they will be linked down below, but also I'll let you know which ones were sent in PR, which ones were not, or basically just the ones that were sent in PR. That was bought by myself. I just don't know if I'm going to remember to tell you every single time on camera whether I bought it or not. I'll just tell you the ones that were sent in PR. If I don't say anything, it's because I bought it myself, basically. The next one is OLYMPEA Solar. This is one that I definitely had my eyes set on. And again, was very excited to wear on vacation. So I brought this one on vacation as well. And this, similarly to the Fame, was one that I liked to wear in the evenings when we were going out for supper. I will wear it in the daytime now. Like, I already have worn it, and I guess we are basically in summer. I've worn it in the daytime, but it's definitely still very sweet and a little bit gourmand, and yeah, it's very sweet, citrusy, aldehydic. It's not really like OLYMPEA. It's quite different, and I'm still not sure whether, I think I still prefer the original OLYMPEA. I don't know that I prefer this one, but I will say it's a welcome change, and I really, really like this one. It's just a very sweet, citrusy, white floral fragrance. It doesn't have the saltiness of the OG OLYMPEA, but it does have that solar quality that does still feel beachy. And all around, I mean, I think that if you like a sweet, citrusy, white floral fragrance, and if you like the original OLYMPEA, I do think this one is worth checking out. This one also reminded me a little bit of another fragrance that I'm going to share with you a little bit later on. So stay tuned for that. But I love this fragrance. It's definitely an easy reach fragrance. Is it a must have? Not necessarily, but very nice to have. And I'm very happy to have it. I'm very happy that I picked this up. I also think that this is probably the prettiest I have of the bottles I have. I have OLYMPEA, I have OLYMPEA Intense, and I have OLYMPEA, what's the one? The one that I like less. OLYMPEA Legend. I think this is the prettiest bottle. I like it with the black cap and the gold. I love it. So yeah, those were really like my going out, almost like date night, sweet, sexy fragrances for the summer that I have already gotten a lot of use out of during vacation with Fame and OLYMPEA Solar. Also note, OLYMPEA, yeah, has a lot of that aldehydic quality. It's kind of like sparkling and fizzy a little bit, but it's still very sweet. Still very sweet. Still white floral, and specifically it has a tiare note in there that's very strong, so it's very tropical white floral. And yeah, it's tropical because it has that tiare, but it also has the ylang in there, so it's yellow floral and white floral. It has those sweet citruses too all throughout, which is really nice. Sweet citrus, tiare, ylang, tropical, aldehydic, solar, sweet fragrance. So this would be more like sweet, citrusy, floral, yellow and white floral. This is more very sweet, fruity, juicy, white floral with a bit of an incense vibe to it. Creamy as well. more creamy, more aldehydic. Now, this fragrance I also brought on that vacation to Mexico I told you guys about, and wore it in the similar sort of situations as Fame. It's a little bit more like of a sexy, feminine, going out sort of fragrance, but I actually wore this a lot in the daytime, again, for similar reasons, and I really did enjoy this fragrance. I will say, even though I did not wear the regular OLYMPEA this summer, I don't know if I prefer this one. I think I might still prefer the original. And part of the reason I'm saying that too is because the fragrance that this reminds me of, which I will mention later on, I think I prefer that other one over this one. So while I do like this one, I do like it a lot actually, it's not my favorite one. Do you know what I mean? Which is what makes it kind of like optional in the whole bunch, I guess, because it's not one of my favorites. But I really like it. It's very nice. I can't complain about it. And yeah, I really enjoyed OLYMPEA Solar. The next fragrance that I'm loving this summer is by M.Micallef. This is Soleil Passion by M.Micallef. This one was sent to me in PR during the winter time. And when I smelled this right away, I was like, this is something that I'm going to enjoy in the springtime. And that is when I started wearing it more. I really, really, really love this fragrance. It has a very juicy, fresh, fruity opening with strawberry and pomegranate. And it also has all throughout a very strong ambergris presence, which I think is very hit and miss for people. So ideally, if you can, and I will see if I can link that down below, some samples, I think you should sample this first because people either seem to love it or really dislike it. I really, really love this fragrance, and I don't get any kind of dirtiness on my skin at all, but that seems to be what some people get with the ambergris, a sort of dirtiness to it. I don't get that at all. It smells very kind of salty and oceanic to me on my skin, and juxtaposed with that pomegranate and wild strawberry, they smell with the ambergris almost like a strawberry or pomegranate lemonade. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, like a lemonade. And it has a beautiful musky sandalwood dry down to it with that ambergris like all throughout. So if you don't like that ambergris note, like it's going to be a deal breaker. I love it in this fragrance, and it's kind of what dominates the fragrance all throughout. Really lovely. I love wearing this on hot days. This is a daytime fragrance for me. Again, with all my recommendations, you can wear them when you want, but this is when I'm inclined to wear it during a hot day when I'm just running out the door. It has really beautiful sillage. It's not a very big projector, but you will get whiffs of it constantly. And it just kind of flows and like floats around you and wafts through the air in a very gentle, caressing kind of way. I just love it. And it is also a very good layering fragrance. So I will show you another fragrance that I love to layer with this coming up. So stay tuned for that. But I love to layer this fragrance as well, mainly because of that musky ambergris sandalwood mix. It's just wonderful to layer with. I think this is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. I really enjoyed wearing this, and I will say though, even though this is a little bit of an expensive concoction, I did tend to layer this fragrance with another fragrance that I will share at the very end. It's just a whole other level of perfection to me, but this is a beautiful fragrance on its own, and I really, really enjoyed it on very hot summery days when I wanted to feel energized and also wanted to, smell really good. It has a little bit of a lemonade vibe to it. There's a few fragrances out there that like their citrus element with their fruit element reminds me a little bit of a lemonade, and this one does remind me a little bit of like a pomegranate strawberry lemonade, and I really enjoy it. I really like the dry down too. It has a beautiful sandalwood musk dry down, and those are just pillar notes for me that I just love. So this is a very easy reach summer fragrance for me. You will see though that this other fragrance, this was sort of newer too. I had only started wearing it in the spring. The other fragrance that I was pairing this with though does have a more substantial dent, and that's because this other fragrance I wore a lot more than this one, but I liked to pair them together. So that's Soleil Passion by M.Micallef. if you're ever interested in M.Micallef fragrances, I do have a discount code with them. I'm pretty sure it's still active. If it is, I will put it up on the screen. Thank you for using it. If you do, it is an affiliate link. But yeah, I don't know that you can use it for their samples, but I do recommend that you sample this one first before buying it. What I love about M.Micallef fragrances is how natural smelling they are, and they are a little bit more traditional in their scent profiles, I find, which I enjoy. And also this bottle is definitely very beautiful. It comes with like a charm, like a bracelet charm also as well. But yeah, really enjoyed wearing this. And by the way, in case it wasn't already mentioned, this was PR. This was sent to me. But I would be very happy if I had spent my own money on this one as well. Next, we have another Soleil fragrance. This is Soleil Cristal by Lancome. This is probably one of my newest acquisitions. I got this actually like secondhand, and I initially got this because I tried it out in stores. So I'm very much like not blind buying so much anymore. Like sometimes I will still blind buy something that I see on discount at Winners or at Shoppers Drug Mart or something. But generally speaking, I don't really blind buy that much anymore. If you haven't seen my declutter video, I talk a little bit about that. Yeah, I smelled this in stores and I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought it was a really nice summer flanker of La Vie est Belle. Now that I've received it and that I'm trying it out, it's a little bit heavy to me. I'm going to be honest, and it's a little bit more similar to the regular OG La Vie est Belle than I remember smelling it in stores. So I'm a little apprehensive about it. It's not bad at all, but I just remembered it being a little bit more coconutty and not so much like La Vie est Belle. Like a little bit more different than it seems to be. So this is a very sweet, gourmand coconut vanilla fragrance, and I think it's suitable for evening wear, for going out. I wouldn't wear this in the heat, the big, sunny, hot day, muggy day when you're going to sweat a lot. That's not when I'm going to wear this, and I don't really recommend it. But when you want something like for date night or something and you want to smell really sweet and gourmand, I do think this is a good option for that. It might be too sweet for you if you're not into very sweet fragrances. And because of how sweet and dense it is, I think you could wear this year round, not just summer at all. So yeah, I'm still wrapping my head or my nose around it. I still need to get to know it a little bit more. I've only worn it a couple of times, but so far I don't like it as much as I thought I liked it. So, that happens sometimes too, like even if you try it in stores a few times, sometimes it smells different when you get the bottle. I don't know why that is, to be honest. But yeah, the verdict is still out for this one. I'm just not as in love with it as I thought I was. So we will see. It's unfortunate, but I don't know that it's working out for me. I do think that I will enjoy this ironically more in the winter time, even though this is supposed to be like a summer flanker, very coconutty with some ylang in there, creamy coconut. And I did not find it as look tonic as I would have liked. I think that actually that might change in the winter time. I'm hoping that the cold will bring out that creamy coconut more, because honestly in the summer I find this suffocating. I did try it a couple times and I was just like, man, like this is borderline a scrubber for me. Not because it smells bad, but it was just too much for me. And it's a heavy fragrance. I definitely did not feel comfortable wearing this in the high heat of summer. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed because I did purchase this after testing it out and I thought, oh, I really, really love this and I want to have a bottle of this. And now I'm just like not so sure that it's that great, So yeah, we will have to see. I know it is well loved in the community. People really love this fragrance, and I'm going to give it some more wears. And I also would like to see how it wears in the cold, because I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it much more in the cold. It is still a heavy, sweet iris patchouli fragrance to me. Like the coconut ylang aspect is very second fiddle for me in this fragrance. I don't sense it as much, and I'm hoping that that's just because of, like I said, the weather, the heat. It just felt too oppressive in the heat. So that's Soleil Cristal by Lancome. Next, we have a very affordable fragrance that I was very excited to pick up, and that was a very successful blind buy. And that is Banana Republic's Gardenia and Cardamom. And I think this one is compared to like Eau de Soleil Blanc. I don't think Soleil Blanc, but maybe the Eau de Soleil Blanc. Or anyway, yeah. And I can kind of see the resemblance. But yeah, this is just very effortless. I love the warm spiciness of the cardamom juxtaposed with the creamy, more tropical gardenia. Yeah, so this has some tuberose, it has some gardenia. It also has some ylang in there, which I get, and it does smell a little bit banana-y in there. It's just really lovely. If you like that creamy gardenia with the dense tuberose and a bit of ylang, it's a little bit woody and ambery in the dry down. It does have a beachy feel to it. It does have a driftwood note in there. So yeah, like a beachy woody sort of dry down to it. It's just very effortless. I really love that the cardamom with those white florals and the ylang just smells so good. The cardamom is not sharp in any way. It just lends a nice, slight warm spiciness to what would otherwise be just a gardenia tuberose fragrance, I guess. Just a regular white floral fragrance, you know. Very beachy, very easy to wear casually every day. I honestly could wear this anytime. Like, I would wear this in the heat of the day. I would wear this to go to the gym. I would even wear this to go out because I think it's sexy. But it's light enough and airy enough to be worn in those other high heat or high sweat conditions. I really love this. It has a nice creaminess to it without being too dense. Now that might be the drawback as well. It's not the most long-lasting fragrance, which I hear, you know, is the case for a lot of Banana Republic fragrances, but it's very affordable. So to me, you win some, you lose some. And for a 100 ml bottle, what is it? 75 mLs. I'm very happy with the performance of this, especially for the situations, like I said, that I reach for this, which is very casual, everyday. So I don't mind that it only lasts a few hours on my skin. I love this. I really love this fragrance, you guys. I don't think I have that much of a dent in it. It takes a lot of wear, you guys, for me to put a dent in a fragrance. Like, it's a big deal if there's a dent in the fragrance. With the amount of fragrances I have, I don't know how many I have now. It's probably over 400 fragrances, to be honest. It might be 500. It's ridiculous. I need to count. I'm scared of counting. I still need to declutter, but I wear my fragrances. So because I wear all my fragrances, the dents don't really tend to happen that often. So I did wear this casually, especially when I didn't feel like I needed my fragrance to last all day, because this is not a super long wearing fragrance. This is not like, if I put it on in the morning, I'm not gonna be able to smell it unless I, you know, bury my nose in my arm. I'm not gonna be able to smell it at 5 o'clock or 6 p.m. So rarely does that happen though, that I'm gone like all day. It's definitely something I liked to wear when I was just gonna be out of the house for a few hours, or I was going to the park or something. I love the combination of the white florals with that warm, spicy cardamom touch. The cardamom is not sharp or cloying or overwhelming in any way. This is a really creamy, beautiful, warm, sensual fragrance to me, and absolutely worth the price too. Like, I do think the price might have gone up a little bit because I don't know if it's discontinued, and also I think it's quite a popular one in the Banana Republic line, but it's still around $60 Canadian, I think, which, hey, now is a bargain, right? Like, that used to be a middle road sort of price for fragrances to me, but now it's kind of like, hey, $60 is a bargain, you guys, for a full-size bottle too. Anyway, so I definitely think this is very much worth it if you like that white floral sort of sunny, I don't know if it has coconut, but that kind of vibe, creamy, sweet, but a little bit ethereal, not too strong. Like, it's not a powerhouse, but you're just gonna smell yummy and like beachy, and it's an easy grab and go fragrance for me if you like that. And I do think that the cardamom adds a little bit of something that makes it elevated, that does make it smell a little bit more expensive than it actually is. It is seen as being like a dupe for Soleil Blanc. I don't know that fragrance enough, you guys. I've only ever tested it in stores, and I find it hard to recall all the notes when I smell it in stores, especially when I smell other fragrances around. But they do have similar notes. That one just has a more complex note breakdown, and I think it has like pistachio and stuff. This doesn't have that, but they do both have cardamom. So I see how they might have that in common. And I really, really like that combination here. So yeah, this is a winner. Love this fragrance. And while I didn't wear it the most often, it's not necessarily because it was on purpose. Like, it was actually kind of like out on my tray, my filming tray. And so that's part of the reason I didn't reach for it as often. But I really love this fragrance, and I'm really happy that I decided to pick it up, and I highly recommend it if you like those kinds of fragrances. I also picked up, this one I picked up during the VIB sale, and I had been wanting it since it came out last year. This is Ellis Brooklyn's Sunfruit. I smelled it in person when it came out from my friend's collection, and I just fell in love with it right away. It's just a very fun, uplifting fragrance. It's very fruity. It's very tropical and creamy at the same time. It has fig and coconut. There's something a little bit shampoo-y to how it smells as well. And when I first sprayed this, for some reason, it reminded me a little bit of like a pineapple pina colada vibe, but there's no pineapple in here. There is pear, so I guess it's like the pear fig mix with the coconut. Did that somehow. But yeah, really lovely fragrance. I love how it has the creaminess, the lactonic quality, but it also has this punchy, fruity, sweet, almost fresh, aquatic fragrance to it as well. A little bit shampoo-y. The only drawback I would say is I do find it lacking a little bit in longevity, unfortunately. But I love this fragrance. It is a little bit addictive in the sense that it's the opening and the first couple of hours are really intoxicating, and then you just kind of want to spray yourself again because then it gets to the dry down, which is not bad, but it's just not as punchy. Overall, I'm really, really happy with this fragrance. The only drawback, like I said, was a bit the longevity. It has decent projection in sillage, if you ask me. It's just the longevity is a little bit, you know, after 3 or 4 hours, it's more of a skin scent. So yeah, and it's not the cheapest fragrance. Ellis Brooklyn, I just started realizing, is kind of expensive. I feel silly saying that right now, like you only noticed. But I mean, next to a lot of other niche fragrances that you can get at Sephora, these ones are on the upper end. But then at the same time, also, designer fragrances are now up there too. Designer fragrances are often actually like the same price or more expensive than a lot of niche fragrances. Have you guys noticed that? Because I've noticed that, and it's very interesting to me. So anyway, yeah, I'm really happy with this Sunfruit. If you love a creamy, tropical, fruity, sweet, figgy coconut scent that smells a little bit shampoo-y, Sunfruit by Ellis Brooklyn. Super fun fragrance. I would wear this. I really like to wear this when there's a lot of wind around me because then I get all that juicy fruitiness just constantly wafting around. So if I'm going out for a walk or going out for errands in the daytime especially, I really enjoy this Sunfruit by Ellis Brooklyn. I waited a while to add this, partly because of the price. I do think Ellis Brooklyn is quite expensive, and I think they're even more expensive now. If they weren't so expensive, I would have more of their fragrances. I would love to have Sweet. I also like their fragrance called Salt, and I really would like to try their newer fragrance Florist, which looks right up my alley, and I love the bright pink bottle, but again, price. But anyway, this one I had already tried. My friend had let me try it, and I really, really loved it. I found it intoxicating in the best way. I really still love this fragrance, but I'm not as blown away by it as I used to be. And the main reason is that I find that really, really intoxicating, lush, almost pina colada cocktail creamy opening, which is actually like fig. I don't know, it feels like pineapple coconut, but it's like fig and coconut and some other fruits. I don't find it very lasting, that part of the fragrance. So at first I thought maybe the entire fragrance was not very long lasting, but actually it's just that those top notes and the mid are kind of fleeting. They don't hang around long enough for me, and the dry down is very nice, but it's just not as inspired and a little bit more generic. So it doesn't smell bad. It smells wonderful, It's just not as much of an obsession as I thought it would be. So this is definitely something that I still wore casually, especially because of those fleeting top notes. This is the kind of fragrance, and I don't feel that way for almost all fragrances. This is the kind of fragrance that makes me want to reapply. Like, I get annoyed that I can't smell those top and mid notes anymore, and I want to reapply it. So the times that I did wear it, I did end up reapplying it, and I do enjoy it, but I don't think it's worth the price. Sadly, I hate saying that, but because of that, I don't think it's very worth the price, and it's too bad. So I will definitely, you know, like, keep wearing it and use it up because I really, really enjoy it. But I don't think I would repurchase it, or if I did, I would just get the larger bottle, because they come now in, like, is it 100 ml? Or it might be 200 ml. I don't know. It's a ridiculously big bottle, actually. It's at least double the size. So if I were to, you know, I would just get the bigger bottle, and we'll see by then, because I still have quite a lot of the fragrance. We'll see by then if I still want it that badly. But I don't have too much negative to say, to be honest. Aside from the longevity, it's a beautiful fragrance. Very easy to wear, shampooey and scrumptious. And I enjoyed wearing this. It's a very uplifting scent. Not terribly unique, even though I can't think of any other fragrances that smell quite like it. It doesn't feel terribly unique. You know, the vibe is not terribly unique, but still very easy to enjoy, easy to wear fragrance, and I really like it. If you don't mind spending that much on a fragrance, or you have, you know, the budget for it, and you like that kind of fruity explosion of a fragrance that smells a little bit shampooey and creamy and tropical, then go for it. You know, I honestly think it's such a good, nice smelling fragrance. But if you're expecting something otherworldly and different and unique, and you have high expectations for a fragrance that is kind of expensive, then you might be disappointed. So that's my take on Ellis Brooklyn Sunfruit. Another fragrance that I bought actually during, not the last VIB sale, but the one preceding that, so in the winter, I guess, during Christmas time, is a fragrance that actually started out as a sample rollerball that I kept by my bedside, and I started using it every night and fell in love with it. So yeah, I knew I was going to get it during the VIB sale, and that is Sunkissed Hibiscus by Nest. This is another tropical coconut fragrance, but it's very dense, it's very creamy and sensual. It's a lactonic. It's an ambery coconut fragrance as well. And it's just dreamy. It gives me like sunset goddess vibes. I don't know how else to describe it, but yeah, this is definitely more of an evening fragrance to me. I do wear it at bedtime, like I said, like I have that roller ball that I would wear. But this is something that I also brought on vacation with me with the OLYMPEA Solar and Fame. So in the same vein for me as like, you wear this when the sun has gone down, your skin is still warm, maybe you're a little bit tanned, and you want something just very sweet and sexy and creamy. Sunkissed Hibiscus is one that I really, really enjoy. This is just a very easy to wear fragrance for me. It has all the white florals in it too. It has tuberose, it has gardenia, it has orange blossom, it has some creamy coconut and frangipani. So to me, it's just a beautiful, tropical, creamy, coconutty fragrance that makes me feel a little bit like a goddess. Longevity, all that is very good for me, and I love it. If you like a more dense, creamy, tropical, white floral coconut fragrance, you might really like this. And yeah, I don't know why it's called Sunkissed Hibiscus, because there's no hibiscus in it, but it works. It's very pretty on the bottle though, I will say, right? Yeah, really love this fragrance, Sunkissed Hibiscus, and I'm really, really happy that I bought this. I actually bought the set that came with the travel size, and usually I feel like that's a waste for me. I'm like, can I just have a lower price and only have the full bottle? But in this case, I actually really appreciated that. I took the travel size with me on vacation, and I love this fragrance so much that I don't mind having a little extra. So yeah, I love this fragrance. Let me see. All along I haven't been smelling these. I've just been going on like my memories, you know? But yeah, I love this fragrance so much. I think I told you guys already, but I fell in love with this fragrance with a little rollerball, a free rollerball trial size that I had that I used at bedtime. And I did bring this to Mexico, and I did wear it to Mexico. I love this fragrance. I did wear it this summer as well. But again, with with the fragrances that I brought to Mexico, there's something about them that made me feel like, I don't know, like apprehensive about wearing them very much in the summer here at home. I guess it's a scent memory thing, but I really love this fragrance. I do find it kind of like heavy in a good way for the summer. This to me is heavy in a good way. The Soleil Cristal is heavy in a cloying kind of way. This is heavy in the way that like the coconut in here, the frangipani are kind of, you know, they're dense and a little bit powdery and creamy and lactonic at the same time, and really wrap you up in this very rich, dense scent bubble that I enjoy, but this one is not overwhelming to me. Not that they smell the same, but you know what I mean in terms of their density and heaviness. Really love this fragrance, and I'm really happy that I have it. And yeah, I did wear it, even though you cannot tell, like I said, with the dents. You probably can't tell, but I did wear this fragrance. I also sometimes use I have a travel spray of this fragrance, so I also sometimes just use the travel spray. Actually, especially when we would go on little trips and stuff to visit family, I definitely just brought the travel spray. Love this fragrance and wore it, you know, intermittently throughout the summer. Sunkissed Hibiscus. So far, these are like my big, like more date night summery fragrances. Fame, OLYMPEA Solar, Sunkissed Hibiscus. All the tropical, sweet tropical vibes or beachy vibes. Next, we have a fragrance that was sent to me in PR, and this is by Maïssa. And I actually have a couple fragrances that I want to talk to you about, but the other two are just not necessarily summer fragrances, but I really, really like them. I do have a code with them, I believe. If I have a code, I will put it up here on screen, and I will also link it down below. It's just a support code, but it will give you, I think, 20% off. And yeah, I've really been enjoying their fragrances. This fragrance is Cataliya, and it is a very sweet, again, lemonade-like fragrance to me. It reminds me of a sweet berry lemonade. It's sweet, it's fruity, it's uplifting, it's invigorating. It's very fun. The fruits in here are black currant and plum. I'm not so much a plum fan, but the black currant is really yummy and juicy in here. And together with the lemon and the grapefruit, it gives it a fruity, juicy lemonade vibe that's really, really delicious. And in the dry down in the mid, it has a caramel note, which comes through as well, which is what kind of just gives it this sort of lingering sweetness. But the whole thing doesn't necessarily read as gourmand, you know. It does have vetiver and patchouli in here, which smell a little bit more earthy, a little bit more grounded. It does have some vanilla, some musk, and amber in the base as well. So it's a very complete sort of fragrance, very fleshed out. I do really enjoy this, especially in the springtime. In the summer as well, it's just the springtime I really gravitated towards it because it still had a more earthy and grounded base. So I could wear it in the very cold weather, but it had that punchiness and the fruitiness from the black currant and the lemon that made it really kind of intoxicating and addictive. I do get the patchouli in here, so you do need to kind of like that patchouli vetiver sort of earthiness, but I really like it in here. It's really nice. I do think this could be unisex, but it does lean a little bit more feminine to me, though I think you could wear it as a man as well. All around, a really great fragrance. So great for the warmer weather and the springtime, but can definitely hold its own because of those earthier base notes in the wintertime and the colder weather. This is one that I'm definitely excited to get some more use out of in the summer months. I definitely got some use out of it in the springtime. Like I said, I think that might be my top season for this fragrance. I literally craved it during the springtime. A couple other fragrances I just want to mention by Maïssa because I just really like them. One of them I haven't heard being talked about here on YouTube. I'm sure it has, but I don't watch every single video, but I haven't heard about this one. And it's Magic Moment Elixir. This one is a very sweet gourmand, caramelic, white floral fragrance with some coconut in it. I don't know if there's some honey. I think there might be some honey. It is woody as well. This is one that I loved wearing in the dead of winter. So that's why I'm just mentioning it as a side note because it's not a summer fragrance. To me, it's definitely more heavy and gourmand the same way. Not in the same scent, but in the heavy, dense density of it, of like La Vie est Belle. Like, you know, like this is something that sticks to your skin and really projects in the cold and in a very intoxicating, amazing, mouth-watering sort of way. Magic Moment Elixir is really, really delicious, and I really, really loved it on very cold days when I was going to go out for cold walks, usually to go get my kid at school. It's a good 30-minute walk, so if it was really cold out, I loved to wear this and smell it the whole way there. So good. And my son said he could smell me when I got it, when I entered the school. I will say the Maïssa fragrances are all very strong. So if you like a strong, projecting, long-lasting fragrance, the Maïssa fragrances, so far all of them that I've tried, except for maybe one, I would say maybe Princesse de Gaulle. I have a travel of that one. That one is less projecting, less strong, less long-lasting, but most of them are very strong fragrances. This is one of those. Cataliya is as well. So yeah, this does have, I'm looking at the notes now, it does have honey, and it has caramel and coconut. Very gourmand. It has a lot of that orange blossom and jasmine in the mid as well. It also has a very beautiful ambery, vanilla, woody dry down. And yeah, I think this is a really, really solid, great fragrance. If you love a quite sweet, vanillic, gourmand, white floral fragrance, Magic Moment Elixir is worth checking out. Also, I would say, it's funny because it doesn't smell like any other fragrance that I have, but if I had to compare it to another like very sticky, sweet fragrance, it would be like Scandale or Scandale by Night. You know, like it does not smell like that. So I think you could like one and not like the other, but it has that same very sticky, sweet nature to it, and that very strong gourmand fragrance to it. So, and I mean, it does have honey, so it does have that in common. So Magic Moment Elixir is worth checking out if you want that kind of fragrance as well. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be wearing that in the summer, but fall, winter, even a bit of spring, it is a go-to fragrance for me. Another fragrance that I wanted to mention by Maïssa is JAWHARA, which, man, this is a really yummy fragrance. I think some people find it overpowering, and I think I would have found it overpowering once upon a time as well. This has a very sweet, syrupy, candied orange blossom in it, but it's also very ambery and woody, and it somehow, at first sniff, definitely reminds me of Mancera's Rose Vanille. So it has that same very strong, quality, the same one that Rose Vanille has by Mancera that I think you either love or you hate. But in this case, it's heavy on the orange blossom. The listed notes are quite simple. It has some citruses in the opening, and then it has the orange blossom, some patchouli, and some amber and vanilla in the base. So not overly complex, but really yummy, very mouth-watering, almost like the orange blossom does have almost like a gourmand touch to it. It is very intoxicating. This is a different kind of orange blossom though. It does have this very dense, sweet candied aspect to it. Yeah, I really like this fragrance. This is one that I only have a travel size of it, but I would gladly like to have a full size of this. And actually, what I really like about Maïssa is that the travel sizes are really decent size. This is 20 ml. That's decent. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing out. And like, even though I've worn this a few times, I think the dent is like just there. So, you know, it's going to take a while for me to go through this, and I'm really happy with this one. I think you could get away with it potentially in the summer, but this to me is more of a cold weather fragrance, to be honest. And I just want to mention this one and the Magic Moment Elixir because I meant to mention them like in the winter time, but you know, I didn't film any videos. So now it's summer, and yeah, so I'm just mentioning those ones now. And for the summertime, I would say Cataliya is the one. Next, we have Cataliya by Maïssa. And this is that fragrance I said that I wore a lot in the spring. And you guys, honestly, this is a spring fragrance to me. Just so perfect for the spring. I do find it a little heavy for the summertime. It does have like a bit more of an earthy base. I think it has patchouli. It has a strong patchouli in there as well that I do enjoy. Like, it really anchors the fragrance, and that's what makes it such a perfect fragrance for the springtime, when you do have that sun coming and warming your skin, but there's still that chill underneath that makes it so that, you know, you can carry a heavier fragrance, in my opinion. That's why to me it's such a perfect spring fragrance, because it has that lemonade sort of opening that I told you about earlier that I really enjoy. Oh yeah, I love this fragrance. I love it. All the Maïssa fragrances, by the way, I've just been becoming like falling in love with more and more. There's also another fragrance that I haven't talked about called Wood that is so sexy on my partner. Like, I love it so much when he wears it. Every time he wears it, I'm like, oh my god, that smells so good. Like, anyway. So I really enjoy the Maïssa fragrances. They have really grown on me. I think I do have also a discount code for them. It's not affiliate, like I don't make any kind of commission or anything, but you do get a discount. I believe it's 20%, something like that, which is pretty good. All the Maïssa fragrances, I will say, are very strong. They're all potent. They're all beast mode, or, you know, great longevity. Quite a luxurious packaging with the magnetic cap, nice thick heavy bottle. And yeah, I was a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit suspicious when I first got a PR package from them. I was like, I don't know this brand. It is a newer brand and everything, but I've really fallen in love with their fragrances. I shouldn't say suspicious, I guess skeptical about the brand. But anyway, I really enjoyed, yeah, they've really grown on me. This fragrance I really love. I did not wear it that much in the summer. I think I just mentioned why, because I find it a little bit heavy in the base for the summertime. I do think it does better with a little bit more of a chill in the air, but it has that brightness, like I said, from all the fruitiness and that lemonade aspect I was talking about. So there you go. That's why it really is going to be one of my favorite spring fragrances. It was last year, and I think it will be again next year. I think I will also wear it on days that I want to be uplifted in the fall and winter. So yeah, I did give it a try in the summer, but it was fine, but it was not my go-to in the summer. That's Cataliya by Maïssa. Oh, and then of course by Maïssa as well. Where is it? Anyway, looks like I did not bring it. I'm going to put up the name because I forget now. It's the tuberose one. Oh man, what is it called again? Anyway, that one I did wear a little bit in the summer as well. It was nice. I like it a lot. But actually that was the one that was probably the least long lasting of all the Maïssa fragrances. And I have a few Maïssa fragrances now. So yeah, because of that aspect of it is not great. But it's a very pleasant, very delicious fragrance. And I tended to wear that when I was like, again, going on little trips with my family. This one, by the way, JAWHARA, really beautiful fragrance as well, which I think will be really nice in the fall time now. Very ambery, sweet ambery. It does have a little bit, it reminds me a little bit of Mancere's Rose Vanille, but with orange blossom. Like a very heavy, candied, sweet orange blossom. Oh, it's so intoxicating though. It really is. I know I'm using that word that people hate there, but it is. It's quite intoxicating. I would have liked to have had a larger bottle of this one, but the travel sprays, you guys, are very decent. They're 20 ml, which I think is such a nice size. You know, with 10 ml, you can feel a little bit like, oh, I don't want to use it up. I'm scared of using it up. But with the 20 ml, you really need to use a lot of the fragrance to use it up. And by then, you will really know if you enjoy that fragrance enough to buy a full bottle, you know? So I really like this like in-between size of 20 ml JAWHARA. So actually, let me see. I'm going to put these. Maybe I should put all the fragrances that I've already talked about like right over here so you can see them a little bit as well. Why not? Let me know, you guys, what you've been wearing this summer, and were there fragrances that you thought you were going to wear and that you really didn't reach for, or the opposite, like fragrances that you didn't realize you were going to love so much? Let me know. There's so many new releases too, you guys. I cannot keep up. Okay, next we have a fragrance that just recently came out, and I bought it during the VIB sale, and this is just beautiful, you guys. This is Coconut Sun by the Seven Virtues, and I will say I really love the Seven Virtues. There's a couple brands, this one and another one I will mention soon, that are clean brands at Sephora that I just quickly have really, really loved and gravitate towards for everyday wear. This is a beautiful, sweet, creamy, coconutty floral fragrance. It feels tropical. It feels a little bit lactonic. It's very vanilla forward. It actually dries down to almost a straight vanilla fragrance. So you definitely need to like vanilla. If you love vanilla though, this is like the vanilla fragrance for your summer. Okay, I'm telling you. It has the coconut in there, but it's very strong on the vanilla front. It also has some florals. It has some frangipani, which is definitely more of that creamy tropical sort of floral. It has some rose and it has some jasmine. It also has a salt note in the mid, which, to be honest, this is a fragrance that if I didn't know there was salt in it, I wouldn't necessarily detect it, which is quite nice because I think that what it does in that case is it does the same thing in food. It just kind of brings out the flavor, it brings out the creaminess, it brings out the sweetness in the fragrance. So yeah, without screaming salt. I really, really, really enjoy this. And it's funny because at first spray, it almost has a spicy quality, which is really strange. There's nothing spicy in this fragrance, but it almost made me think that there was cardamom in it. No worries if you're worried about cardamom because it goes away after a couple of minutes. But it's just very strange, and I don't smell it. I don't really smell it out of the atomizer. It's just when I spray it, the initial minute or two, I get like a spiciness, which I don't know what that is because the top is just supposed to be citruses and coconut water. But just in case you try it out and you're kind of taken aback, that goes away. It's really just a creamy, slightly lactonic, coconutty, tropical vanilla. A little bit creamy, just like this is really creamy as well. This is really creamy as well. This is really creamy as well, but more vanilla, coconut vanilla. Very easy to wear. Definitely gives suntan bronze vibes. So I think you could wear it for an evening out to date night or something like that. But every day I would wear this. I would wear this even going to the gym. Like I said, I would wear this for any occasion. It doesn't project too much, but it is decent. It has decent longevity to it and definitely could layer with so many fragrances, especially because of that very obvious just vanilla dry down. Yeah, just really, really enjoy this fragrance. Not overly complicated, but just an easy reach, easy love, very enjoyable fragrance for most people. And similarly, when I was talking about prices, for example, this is like another one of those niche brands, right? But like how I was saying about Ellis Brooklyn, but quite a big difference in price though, actually. These are both 50 mLs. Forget what the prices are, but isn't this one, and I'm talking in Canadian dollars, but I think this one's like 150 and this one's like 110. It might be less of a difference, but it's quite of a big difference. And I was surprised that I just noticed that recently, that this one is quite a lot more expensive than this one for the size, which, speaking of, actually, Ellis Brooklyn does have new 200 ml bottle. No, not 200. 100 ml bottles. These are 50 and they used to only have 50 mLs. Now they have 100 ml bottles, which is great, but it also means that it's $200 Canadian. To me, that's a very exorbitant price, especially for something, like I said, that's lacking a little bit in longevity. I would not buy 100 ml, but I'm going to enjoy this fragrance. It's just too fun. It's too irresistible. I love it. Yeah, I already said it, but the longevity is not great. The scent makes up for it for me, but I don't think that would be enough for every one of you. So yeah, Coconut Sun, love this fragrance, easy wear, and I'm really happy that I added that to my collection. Coconut Sun, and this is that fragrance that I was so excited about adding to my collection. I really, really love the Seven Virtues as a brand. I am kind of becoming more committed to going for cleaner brands in general, I will be honest. But aside from that, I just love every fragrance that I've smelled by the Seven Virtues. And they probably have the most reasonable prices out of all of these brands now. They're like their brand newest, their newest fragrance, I think it's called Cherry Ambition, that just came out. I think it's $119 Canadian, which It is higher than what it used to be, but I mean, try finding a 50 ml of any other fragrance right now for that price. It's just that's now considered semi-affordable in fragrance. Yeah, anyway, back to this fragrance. I really enjoyed this fragrance. This was very, very easy to wear. Very lovely. Definitely more vanilla based. Like after you have the coconut and the frangipani, it's very frangipani, coconut, creamy. It's very vanilla centric. So those other top notes, when they dissipate, you're really left with just like a very sweet, yummy vanilla fragrance. And it's lovely. It's not complex. It's not complicated. It has a beautiful sort of like sweet, juicy nectar aspect to it. Also in the opening that I really like. And yeah, it's lovely. Right now, just as I was smelling it, it does have the same kind of like dense, beautiful feeling to it as Sunkissed Hibiscus. They are not the same, but definitely not the same kind of fragrance. And like Coconut Sun is way more vanilla. This is way more vanilla. This is way more coconut. But even though this has coconut, you know what I mean? This one, the vanilla comes out so much and it dries down to a vanilla, whereas this one's really more of a coconut, more ambery fragrance in the dry down. But both give very, very similar vibes in terms of like that beautiful sun-kissed skin that just smells like rich and lactonic and creamy and sweet and tropical. Like, yeah. So anyway, I can't really choose between the two. Like, don't make me choose. But suffice to say, I really love both, and this is a winner. I'm super happy to have it. I have a little bit of a dent, not massive, but let's see what's the dent like. It was a full, like, you know, totally at the full level bottle. A little bit of a dent, but not massive. But love this fragrance. Super happy to have it in my collection. And of course now I want the Cherry Ambition. And to be honest, it might be one that I blind buy, because even though I'm not really into blind buying anymore, but it's also the only one I probably would, because it's more affordable than the rest that have been coming out. Next fragrance we have is one that was sent to me in PR. This is Juliette Has Lust for Sun. You can use my code Charlotte10 at Twisted Lily for 10% off. What I love about Twisted Lily, I've said it before, is that you can get the sample. So if you would like to just sample this fragrance, go ahead and get their sample and you can get 10% off as well with Charlotte 10. Otherwise, you can get the 50 ml or the 100 ml bottle as well. This for me is an easy summer reach. Love. Absolutely love this fragrance. I will say the bottle, if you know Juliette Has there's something a little different about this bottle. Is usually I have a lot of Juliette Has fragrances, but the bottle cap like just kind of comes off like effortlessly. This one has a click in place, which my others don't have that. They kind of come out, like they're firm, they stay put. You know, you can pick up your bottle with the cap, but it comes off, it slides off. Here there's a click. Small detail, I know, but it's just something that I noticed. Just like I noticed, by the way, that the 7 Virtues bottles changed after Santal Vanille, I think. Yeah, since Lotus Pear, they've changed. Little things you notice when you collect fragrances or hoard them or whatever. But anyway, this fragrance, when I first smelled it, I was like, wow, that does remind me of something. And it doesn't smell exactly like it at all. And actually, in fact, side by side, they don't smell the same. But it did remind me of OLYMPEA Solar. And I think the reason it reminded me of that is because it has that same very sweet citrus floral aspect to it. So again, this one does have a bit of a lemonade quality to it. And the lemonade quality is what I get when it's sweet citrus. So it's the citruses, but they're very sweet. And similar to the OLYMPEA Solar, this has a equal balanced fusion of white florals, tropical white florals, and yellow floral ylang ylang. So that's really what I guess kind of, reminded me of it. This one though definitely leans a little bit more creamy, and OLYMPEA Solar is a lot more aldehydic. I think OLYMPEA Solar 2 is even a little bit sweeter as well. And of course, Juliette Has does have a coconut note, though I will say that if you are looking for a coconut heavy fragrance, to me, this reads as less coconut than Coconut Sun, even though you would think it would be the opposite, because this one has coconut in the notes and this one just has a bit of coconut water in the opening. But I don't get so much. If the coconut is there, it's just there adding a subtle sort of tropical creaminess to the fragrance. But I'm getting way more of those citruses. The bergamot with the ylang, the gardenia, the jasmine, the orange blossom. That quartet of florals, the ylang, gardenia, jasmine, and orange blossom. Those are the same 4 florals too from OLYMPEA Solar as well. So I think that's why they read as similar in that way. This one also has a lot more vanilla in it. So like I said, OLYMPEA Solar is definitely more aldehydic and a little bit more, I guess, ambery. This one does have a musky vanilla dry down that I really, really enjoy, which does make it a little bit more of an easy reach to me than OLYMPEA Solar, in the sense that this one does feel a little bit more nighttime for me for some reason. Whereas this one, I do reach for it on casual occasions, but I would reach for it on a night out as well, because it does read as still like sexy tropical floral with that vanilla and the muskiness as well. So all around, a very easy reach sort of fragrance for me. Very easy to love, very easy to wear for the summertime. This layers really well too with my other favorite by Juliette Has, which is Vanilla Vibes. It would be hard for me to choose between the two. I think if I had to choose one fragrance out of the two, it would be Vanilla Vibes, but Vanilla Vibes is a lot more casual to me. This one is a little bit more versatile to me, and together, so good. So good. I love them together. They really complement each other. Vanilla Vibes is that salty, warm, balsamic sort of vanilla, very beachy sort of fragrance. Together with Lust for Sun, it's amazing. They layer super well together. So if you have the other one, just know this one layers really well with it. Juliette Has Lust for Sun. And this one is the one that reminds me a little bit of OLYMPEA Solar. They're not the same, and they have quite some notes that are quite different, but they do have something quite similar about them that I already mentioned. And this is the one that said, I think I prefer this one. I do wear this one more casually, and there's nothing about this that bugs me. There's something in the OLYMPEA Solar that can sometimes bug me, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Not enough for me not to wear it, you guys, but it's just, if I really think about it between the two, I think I prefer this one. I really, really, really loved Lust for Sun. Really enjoyed this. I wore this like crazy, and maybe you can't tell either, but this was a full size bottle. And for me, with what I said about my dents, about how many fragrances I own, this is a lot of use in a couple months, summer. And I will say I definitely layered this with Vanilla Vibes, which is another big love from Juliette Has. You can see that I do have a dent in that one as well, but I've had that one for longer. These layer so well together. It just amps up the vanilla in Lust for Sun, the Vanilla Vibes, and just contributes to that beachy, creamy vanilla element, which I love. Love these paired together. Do I think you should go out and buy both of them, like, to layer them? Like, come on, don't do that unless you have the budget for it. But if you have one, just know that it layers really well with the other one. If you wanted to get the other one, they layer really, really beautifully together. I just love Juliette Has as a brand. Also, I love all their fragrances, and they are probably one of the brands that has grown on me the most, like that I didn't have the warmest feelings towards in the beginning, but I've just become very in love with, and I'm very intrigued every time they have a new release. The next fragrance that I also picked up during the VIB sale, I know I wasn't really buying fragrances that much, and then VIB, anyway. So that's Maison Louis Marie number 13 Nouvelle Vague, and this is again a newer fragrance, and it has a lot of similar notes that you might have seen. It has coconut, it has fig. I think it has coconut, right? It has fig, it has coconut, it has like amber in it as well, but it smells very different from those other ones. There's something a little bit soapy emanating from this fragrance. I really like it, but it's very different. It's more of a intimate sort of fragrance to me. It definitely doesn't project as much. It feels like a second skin, soapy, creamy coconut fig fragrance. So It feels a little bit more intimate. There is something sensual about it. It feels very balmy, almost like a lotion, like a rich, buttery lotion. And yeah, I've been enjoying this. I have one thing I will say, again, on updates with the bottles changing. This bottle, thankfully, it doesn't look different. They improved the cap though. I don't know if you've seen in a previous video, I've shown that Bois de Balincourt, which I love, you cannot pick it up by the top. It will fall right off. It has no click in place. It just does this. And it's very annoying and it's not very secure, but now it clicks in place. So big improvement on the bottle there, because other than that, I really like the minimalist aesthetic of Maison Louis Marie, and I think it goes really well with the scent profiles. They are very second skin like, not because like they're not that weak, to be honest, but they don't overly project. So they're not weak and they're actually quite long lasting, but they won't fill up a room, and they do tend to make you feel like you are just yourself. Like it's like your skin scent, but better, you know, without really needing to get in there to smell it. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, it goes well with the aesthetic of the bottle. Very simple. Yeah, I like this fragrance. I don't know, it's not like a standout sexy fragrance to me like Coconut Sun. Coconut Sun is a lot stronger, a lot sweeter, a lot more vanillic, beachy. This one is a lot more understated, but if you like a slightly more understated fragrance that smells a little bit unique as well, even though I think there's only like 3 listed notes. I think there's just amber, fig, and coconut. I think there's some white florals in it too. I think there's some white florals in it as well. But yeah, like I said, it does have a soapy and slightly balmy texture to it simultaneously. And it's nice. I will say this is one that I've reached for mostly for bedtime. And I think it's because of that feeling that it gives me of like this clean, soapy, balmy, but still sunny sort of fragrance. It's really nice. I do think it might be hit and miss. I think you should try it out if you get the chance. But I have been enjoying this. So this is Nouvelle Vague by Maison Louis Marie. This is a nice fragrance. I enjoy it. It is quite unique, actually. It's definitely more of like a green fig sort of fragrance, and it has a little bit of a soapiness to it that makes me feel quite fresh and clean. And yeah, this is a fragrance that I wore like when I was getting out of the shower this summer, you know, like getting out of the shower and maybe going to bed even. And so yeah, I really liked it. It has a sensual aspect to it without being overtly sexy as well. It's not an overtly sexy fragrance like a lot of the other fragrances that I've shown you that are figgy or coconutty or tropical or beachy. This one is definitely a lot more understated. You will smell it though. That's not to say that you don't smell it, but it just has a little bit more of an ethereal element to it. And I will say there's something about it that I don't love when I smell it close up on my skin. I really love the scent bubble it gives. It has a really, really beautiful sensual sillage to it as well. But there's something that smells a little bit like soapy when I smell it very up close on my skin. But that said, I do really enjoy this fragrance. I don't regret purchasing this fragrance. I did blind buy this during the Sephora VIP sale last year. But it's not like a must-have fragrance. And I definitely think you should smell it before purchasing it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, I don't have any other fragrances that smell quite like it, which might be, you know, a winning bonus element for you as well. But either way, go smell it first and see what you think. And yeah, I definitely also love the packaging. I love the like minimalist, clean packaging of Maison Louis Marie. And they are a little bit more affordable than the other fragrances now, which is crazy to say for me because I never thought that, you know, the Seven Virtues or Maison Louis Marie were particularly affordable. So yeah, I enjoyed this fragrance and I definitely wore it on more low-key sort of days or like fresh out of the shower. That's when I really enjoyed wearing it, or for bedtime. Nouvelle Vague. Next, we have 3 fragrances that were sent to me in PR by my other clean Sephora brand that I really, really love, you guys. I love Skylar fragrances. I just think they're very easy to wear, very approachable, easy to understand, very easily easily layered and layerable. And I personally appreciate that they are clean, that they are, you know, free of some of the more harmful chemicals in perfumery. I personally appreciate that. I know that can be controversial and some people don't see the benefit of that. Personally, I do. If there's one thing that ticks me off from perfume, that turns me off, is the idea that they can be carcinogenic or harmful to my health or other people's health. That is something that personally concerns me and is hard to reckon with as a avid fragrance lover and consumer and collector. So I do appreciate that. And I really like and love their fragrances. I love that they try out different things too with their fragrances. They are very fun. They're fun with their fragrances, and I really like that. So I think that I am now like solidly on their PR list because I've been getting their newer releases and I was not expecting that. Super excited about that because I used to buy them myself, and some of these I would have gone and bought myself, but I received them, really happy to, and happy to talk about them. I will say the first one that I had is the one that I really, really love, and I brought it on vacation during my Mexico trip that I was talking about. Keep feeling like I have to cough. I don't know if it's because I've been talking a lot, but this is Skylar Pink Canyon. I was going to say pink salt. Pink Canyon, but pink salt would be good too because it has a salty vibe. And this is a fragrance that does have a little bit of similar vibes to Wood Sage and Sea Salt by Jo Malone. At the very first sniff, when I smelled it, I didn't know what it reminded me of because I only have like a small little bottle of Wood Sage and Sea Salt, like a 9 ml or something like that. So I'm not super familiar with it. Haven't worn it very much, but I knew I smelled something similar and I couldn't figure it out. It doesn't smell the same though. You wouldn't, like, if you put them side by side, you wouldn't be like, oh, it's the same. Not at all. But it has that same super interesting addictive quality that feels very refreshing and beachy without being a beachy fragrance like all the ones that I've shown you, which is coconut or vanillic or frangipani or tropical white florals and yellow florals. It's not that at all. It smells very refreshing and energizing, very unisex, but like it feels sexy and feminine at the same time. I don't know how else to describe it because there's nothing overtly feminine about it, but I definitely feel great in this. This is something that I loved wearing every day of vacation when I was going out in the sun, in heat. It was so refreshing. It was energizing, but I also knew that I was going to smell really good. This does have some white florals in it, which is maybe what makes it smell a little bit more tropical and beachy. So it does have some tiare. I think it has some lily of the valley too, which is more of like a clean vibe. But it's also very aromatic and citrusy. It has some sage and some grapefruit in the top. Lemon, but more so the grapefruit. You get the grapefruit and the sage, which just, again, I love an aromatic accord. I do think that like women's fragrances you know, like fragrances marketed towards women would benefit from having more aromatic accords. Like those are a given in most male fragrances or fragrances that are targeted towards men. Aromatic accords just are par for the course. They're like a solid basic accord in every fragrance, but they're not as common in women's fragrances. And while I said this is unisex, I really appreciate, sorry about that. But yeah, I really appreciate that. It does have a woodiness to it. It does have that salt. So like to me, when I smell this, I really like the picture actually on the back because I really picture when I smell this first, like an aromatic, clean, beachy, big, like salt block, but like a Himalayan pink salt block, even though that doesn't make sense because that's not on the beach, but that's kind of what I got. So I definitely get that salt in here and it's so perfectly well done. So it's woody, aromatic, citrusy, and beachy, but I also get a very clean vibe. Definitely like clean out of the shower as well. So yeah, this to me is a fragrance that I would easily, like I wore it a lot during vacation. I've worn it a couple times since, but I definitely see myself wearing it a lot more during very hot days. And it's also a fragrance that I know I will get through and that I would easily, like if it were possible, I would get a larger bottle of. I really, really love this one. This is one of my top Skylar fragrances, and I have like, I don't know if I have 7 or 9 by now. I have a lot of Skylar fragrances, but this is one of my top fragrances. Next up, another fragrance that is very new, and might be the newest one, was recently sent to me, and it is Lime Sands. This is a really fun fragrance. It definitely has a mojito vibe. It's definitely heavy on that salty lime. Very invigorating, very uplifting, very good for hot summer days for sure. Now, I've only worn this once so far. I just recently got it, but I do think this is a lovely, fun fragrance for the summertime that you can wear when it's really hot outside and you want something refreshing. You want something energizing, but you still want to smell good. I think this is a really good one for that. Definitely you could wear this to the gym or anything like that. While these do not smell at all the same, Pink Canyon and Lime Sands definitely have the same sort of easygoing nature to them. They both give me that same feeling of being energized, uplifted, feeling a little bit clean, and both of these are something I would gravitate towards in high heat. My personal pick is definitely Pink Canyon if I had to pick between the two, but this is really fun and I really enjoy the lime because it's very heavy on the lime and I don't really have that in other fragrances. And I'm going to enjoy experimenting with this one in the high heat. And the third fragrance that I recently got that I absolutely love and has become like a wonderful layering option for me as well is Boardwalk Delight. I do think this one has gotten some hype. And I actually previously got this as a rollerball. They sent me a rollerball many months back and I really enjoyed it. And I loved how unique it was because it definitely smells like cotton candy, but mixed with dryer sheets, and not in a bad way. Not like how I mentioned dryer sheet in my recent declutter. This is like in the good way of dryer sheet. So it feels very clean and like clean laundry that just came out that's still hot out of the laundry with a dryer sheet, obviously, but mixed with this perfect cotton candy note. And there's so many cotton candy fragrances out there that that have cotton candy as a note. And I'm like, okay, to me, it just reads as like fuzzy sweetness. This really, really, really smells, the cotton candy in here, it smells like real cotton candy. You're really being brought back to going to the fair or an amusement park with cotton candy. Absolutely. I was even joking with my son, like, what color cotton candy does this smell like? Blue or pink? He's so clever, of course. He's like, they don't smell different. Blue and pink both smell the same. I'm like, okay, yes, you're right. But the point is, it really smells like cotton candy so well. It's very photorealistic and it's very whimsical and fun. And it's very unique because, like I said, it's not just gourmand. Although I will say this is a great gourmand fragrance for the summertime, which, as we all know, it's kind of rare to find a very summer-centric gourmand. This is the one, the summer-centric gourmand. And I really love it. And I love that it's not just gourmand. It also has that fresh, clean, out-of-the-shower aspect to it with the dryer sheet. Like I said, I hesitate to say that because it sounds bad to some people, but to me, it's the good kind of dryer sheet smell. And of course, that's what takes away from the gourmand aspect. Like it has that edible cotton candy vibe to it, but the dryer sheet, the clean vibe, the fresh vibe is definitely not edible. So together it makes it really smell like it's a perfume, you know? But such an easy reach fragrance to me. I love the sillage. This gives, again, it has that soft, billowy sillage. It doesn't feel oppressive in the heat. It's just like a nice, beautiful caress in the breeze. I love it. And I have found that this layers so well with so many fragrances, which again makes me excited because similarly to Pink Canyon, these are fragrances that if there were bigger bottles, I would go for them because this one because it's such an easy reach, everyday, no fuss fragrance for the summertime. This one because I can see myself layering it with so many fragrances as well as wearing it on its own. So I'd get a lot of use out of this one. And the Boardwalk Delight, I will say it does have some solar notes in here as well, which probably means some aldehydes. Sparkling, fresh, and it does have a lot of fruits. Like it has some guava, it has some raspberry, it has some guava blossom, but I'm really getting more of that cotton candy. So I don't know if those are like the notes that read as cotton candy or whatnot, even though there is a cotton candy or ethyl maltol, I guess, note in the base. And it does have coconut milk in it as well. So it really has a little bit of everything all together. It has some creaminess, some freshness. It even has some watery notes watery notes. So it's a little bit aquatic, a little bit fresh, but it still has that dense cotton candy, vanilla, musk, dry down. Yeah, I just love this. Very unique, actually. Boardwalk Delight. Next up, we have all my Skylar fragrances. You guys, I just love Skylar. So this is the one that I really loved, that I already told you about, and I brought to Mexico. And you guys, this one, it reminds me so much of my time in Mexico, like in the best way, that wearing it was strange for me. Just because, like, I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to be, like, on the beach. Oh, I love this fragrance, you guys. I love it so, so much. It's just like a woody, salty, breezy, uplifting fragrance. Beachy, but in the most non-traditional beachy kind of way. I just really, really, really love this fragrance. Pink Canyon is definitely one of my all-time favorites from Skylar. Lime Sands is one that was newer to my collection, and it's really nice and fun and definitely smells a little bit like a mojito with some creaminess in there as well. Gives me similar vibes to Pink Canyon without smelling the same, but like I would wear them for similar reasons and similar situations. But this one didn't win me over as much, not because there's anything wrong with it. Like I said, it's very fun, it's very nice. And it's great for very hot days. And if you love lime, this is a really, really good one. There's no particular reason, to be honest, that this did not win me over. It's honestly just because I have other hot weather fragrances that I love already. So it's harder to insert a new one, you know what I mean, into my rotation. That's it, you guys. That's it. Like it's a lovely, lovely fragrance. And I'm happy that I have it. Do I think I would have bought it though? I think it would be redundant for me to have another citrus uplifting sort of fragrance, even though, like I said, it doesn't smell like anything exactly in my collection. I wouldn't probably buy this one if I already had like Pink Canyon, because they fit sort of the similar purpose, even though they are not the same smell. I do think they probably have a bit of a similar base, but yeah, like when I wanted that vibe, I would usually pick Pink Canyon. I don't know. I can't say. It's hard for me to describe why I would pick this one, because they don't really smell the same, but just they have similar vibes for me. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily buy this again, this one. This one I absolutely would. Like, I don't want to be without Pink Canyon. And then Boardwalk Delight. You guys, this is amazing. This is so, so good. Oh, well, you can even see that I have more of a dent in this one. I did wear this one a lot. This is like the summer gourmand that I can wear all summer long in the heat of the summer. It's amazing. And it layers so well with everything, anything. I was a little bit obsessed with this perfume for parts of the summer, and I love it. I also love that I also started picking up more on that coconut milk in there. There is coconut milk, and I didn't really get that before. I only got like the cotton candy and like clean sort of vibe from it. It has like a bit of a dryer sheet vibe to it as well, in the best kind of way, mixed with cotton candy, but it also has coconut milk in there. Yeah, I think it's coconut milk. And I started getting that, and it's just lovely. I really, really loved this fragrance, and I loved it that I could wear it, this gourmand fragrance, you know, in the high heat of summer, that also felt very clean and fresh at the same time because of that cleaner aspect to it. Yeah, I just really, really love this fragrance, and I do think it has a bit of hype, and this one to me is absolutely worth the hype. So generally, I love my Skylar fragrances, and these were hits, especially Boardwalk Delight and Pink Canyon. This tray is getting very full. And last, but you guys, certainly not least, I hope that you're still here, because I somehow kind of saved the best for last. This one was sent in PR recently, and I do have a code with them. I think it's Charlotte 10. I will put it on the screen, and I will link it down below as well. First of all, I love this brand. I have tried many of their fragrances as samples. It was very hard for me to pick a top fragrance by them. I really, really love their fragrances, but this was the top contender for me that I picked for the summertime, and I love it even more now that I have the full size and can get really the full experience. This is Nothing But Sea and Sky by Nuit Nomade, and you guys, this is very simple in its note breakdown. I think it just has bergamot, musk and sandalwood, but it's just incredibly creamy and musky and beachy in the strangest way. It really feels like you're on the beach on a cloudy, overcast day, and there's something that feels a little bit salty, even though there's no salt in it at all. So I don't know how those three notes come together to come across as being beachy, but they do in a very unisex way. Again, not at all beachy in the same way as all those tropical, beachy, salty fragrances that I've shown you before. And not either like Pink Canyon, which is a lot more aromatic and more woody in that cedar quality. This one is a sandalwood that gets very milky on the skin with that beautiful musk. It's almost like, do you hear this? I don't know if you can hear that, but just that sound to me it corresponds to the smell I get of this fragrance. This is a second skin sort of fragrance, but in the best way. I wore this recently, and it's funny because, again, I very rarely get compliments on the fragrances I wear. And then I wore this thinking, okay, I don't think people are going to be able to smell me. And the very first time I wore this, the cashier at a grocery store complimented me and asked me what I was wearing. And of course I told her, and she was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because it is a niche brand and you can't just go to your local pharmacy or department store and buy it. Nothing But Sea and Sky by Nuit Nomade. Unless you're heavily into fragrance, you're not going to know what that is, I guess. But so effortless and beautiful. Easily could be a signature scent. Easily, if I only had a few fragrances, I would choose this as a signature scent. That would absolutely make a contender for a signature scent to me. And it's just so beautiful. It's also so good layered with so many fragrances. Again, it's that milky sort of sandalwood without being straight lactonic. It's still a bit powdery, but there's something kind of milky that kind of gives like the sandalwood mixed with your skin ends up smelling a little bit milky in a skin-like sort of way with that beautiful musk in there. The bergamot, like I said, for some reason, almost smells a little bit sparkling and salty to me, so it gives a beachy vibe, and I really enjoy this. Also mixed with M.Micallef Soleil Passion, the ambergris here with that saltiness in this one, they just really complement each other because this one has that beautiful fruity sweet lemonade quality to the fruity top with the pomegranate and the wild strawberry, but the ambergris here mixes so well with the notes in Nothing But Sea and Sky. But then the sandalwood in this one amplifies the sandalwood in Soleil Passion, and it makes it more creamy and milky in the dry down. So together, I love these. I know it's a little bit of a far reach. If you don't have either one of these, you might not be like, okay, I want to get both of these. But if you have one of these, I'm just letting you know. Or if you have both of these already, try them together. Because, wow. What I do usually is I would wear this. I've tried it a few times by now. I would wear this in the morning or whenever I'm starting to put fragrance on. And then later in the day when this is dried down, then I would top up with this. So good. So yeah, I saved this for last, but it's one of my absolute favorite fragrances now. I highly recommend it if you like a slightly more than second skin scent that is very sandalwood musk dominant with a bit of bright bergamot in it that reads as a little bit salty. So like I said, it gives a beachy vibe without being an overtly beachy fragrance, and definitely could be a contender for a signature scent year round. That's Nothing But Sea and Sky by Nuit Nomade. Nuit Nomade, Nothing But Sea and Sky. And you guys, this was my summer fragrance obsession for sure. Absolutely love this fragrance. This would probably make it in my top 10 for life. It's just the best clean, musky sandalwood fragrance with a slightly beachy vibe, in that strange kind of beachy vibe as Pink Canyon. So not traditionally beachy as in coconutty or yellow or white floral kind of way. It doesn't have any of that, but there's something beachy, like by beach, it's like a beach on a cloudy day kind of thing. And I just love this fragrance. It is minimalistic. It does pair so well with lots of other fragrances. This is the fragrance that I loved wearing with the M.Micallef fragrance. So beautiful. This transformed the sandalwood in M.Micallef into a much more creamy, milky sandalwood, which I thought was really interesting because on its own, Nothing But Seen Sky, I didn't necessarily translate as it being like the most milky, but it is more on the milky side, and that becomes apparent when I mix it with this one, which this sandalwood is a little bit more woody in a dry sort of way, but it really amps up the milky aspect of the sandalwood, and it's just so beautiful because this has musk and sandalwood. This is musk and sandalwood with some bergamot. So it just amps up that musky sandalwood base, and it's so beautiful. I love them paired together. But if I had to pick just one, it would absolutely be Nothing But Seen Sky. It really feels like me in a bottle in a way. And I love this fragrance. I definitely put quite a sizable dent actually in there. This was a full bottle at the beginning of summer. I do have a code with them. I think I've shared with you. Une Nuit Nomade. I think it's Charlotte 10. I will have to recheck. But to be honest, Une Nuit Nomade fragrances are fantastic. I was given like a test kit, like a sample kit of all their fragrances or most of their fragrances. And this is the one I picked as my number one. But it was hard to pick because there were a lot of really good fragrances in there. And their sampling pack is really such a beautiful, enjoyable experience. Like they have a real story for every single fragrance with beautiful artwork. And they're all just such well-made, beautiful, original, unique fragrances. I do like the packaging as well. Very minimalistic, of course. Minimalist. Love the the magnetic cap. But anyway, this is one of my absolute favorite fragrances right now out of my entire collection. Love this fragrance. So yeah, definitely wore the hell out of this one. Now let's just go and see if there's some other fragrances that I did wear during the summer. I did want to mention, I did wear this during a wedding. Like I went to a wedding this summer and I wore Amouage Love Tuberose. And I will say, while I love this fragrance, I was kind of disappointed by the fact that I couldn't smell it that much on me throughout the night. I should have known. I don't think it's a wide projecting fragrance, but it definitely confirmed it for me. I had never worn it on an occasion like that before, like a party or something like that. So I couldn't have said for sure, but now I definitely know it's not that. It's not a powerhouse fragrance. It's a beautiful fragrance though. I still love it. I just wanted to mention that. And that's the only time I wore it, I think. I might have worn it a couple other times at home. Yeah, I wore it it was my wedding fragrance. My wedding, not my wedding. It was my, wedding invitee fragrance. Yeah. And beautiful fragrance. If you love tuberose and a gourmand, creamy lactonic tuberose with whipped cream. Beautiful fragrance, definitely very expensive. Definitely a luxury experience and fragrance. I also wore a couple times my Mansara Holidays, though I did kind of like not wear it that much because I had so many other fragrances I was, focusing on. But this is just such a banger. Like it's such a good summer fragrance. If you like that like suntan lotion, super tropical, expensive lotion scent, like really like holidays, like the name implies. This is that fragrance. It's coconutty, it's floral as well, it's vanillic, it has a lot of vanilla, it's creamy, it's sensual, it's sweet, it's lovely. It's one of the best fragrances for summer in that genre. And yeah, I'm surprised I don't have more of a dent in it. Although this is definitely a very strong fragrance. This one is a powerhouse. You don't need a lot of sprays. It is long lasting. Everyone will smell you. But I don't think it's headache inducing. Like everyone will smell you, but I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. And maybe some people don't like the smell of it. But I just feel like it's the kind of fragrance. Like you definitely will be noticed. Like the smell will be noticed. You don't wear this if you don't want people to smell you. You know what I mean? But I don't think people will not like this smell. I think it's a very enjoyable smell for most people. Along those same lines, I did also wear my Kayali Utopia Vanilla Cocoa. This one is definitely more floral. So I would say that the Holidays by Mansera is definitely more vanillic and coconutty. This one is definitely more overtly floral, and because of that it can give the sense that it might be more mature smelling just because of that, but it's beautiful. It definitely still has that luxurious holiday sort of vibe to it, and I really enjoyed this. I definitely wore my travel size just as much, so yeah, like this mini here I wore because I brought it on again when I was visiting family, so I definitely wore those two. I also wore my Deja Vu White Flower 57 as well, which I would like to have a full bottle of. Beautiful fragrance, really enjoyed this one. Has that vanilla, sandalwood, musk dry down, but with a lot of that fruity like nectarine opening. Beautiful fragrance. Actually, this one got me like complimented by my partner. He definitely noticed this one and really enjoyed it. He doesn't always comment, so might as well, point that out. He does not often comment. And then of course my Vanilla 28. You guys, I wear this. I do tend to wear this year round, depending. I have my bigger bottle upstairs, but I wore the mini, I think. Yeah, when I was traveling. Really like this, especially for bedtime. I also wanted to mention that I definitely also wore my Brazilian Crush, which I think is Cheirosa. This is like an older bottle. Oh, this is an older bottle. So it says Brazilian Crush, but I think it's called, oh yeah, there it is. Cheirosa 62. I definitely wore that a few times going to the park. And also another fragrance that I also brought to Mexico, but this one, because I wear it in other contexts, I also it's fine. It doesn't just remind me of Mexico. I really love Cheirosa 68. Yes, it's seen as like a Baccarat Rouge dupe. It is sort of, but it's a lot more fruity. I love that fruity like pitaya opening, and it lasts and it's wonderful. I love it. I love it paired with the cream, but actually you guys, I found a dupe for the cream. Oh my goodness. I find those creams so expensive that I always end up mixing them with like a cheaper unscented lotion because they're expensive. But the purple one at Costco is an absolute dupe for it. Absolute dupe. The yellow one to me is not a dupe for Brazilian Crush or Cheirosa 62. It's just not. It's not at all a dupe to me. It smells okay. Like I like it. Like it will do, you know what I mean? Especially for the price, but it's not a dupe. This one, the purple one, I will insert a picture. It absolutely is a dupe for this cream and I love it. They pair well together, but this also just pairs well with everything. Any kind of scent. So I also wore those a lot this summer. Lastly, as well, this was my biggest transition scent. And I just want to say, because now I've noticed over the last few years that this is one of my favorite scents to wear during that time of transition, which is late August, early September. I just love this fragrance. And while I will continue wearing it in the fall, I really love this as a fall fragrance. There's something about it that is just so perfect about that transition time, where it does have that coconut in it. It's sandalwoody, very sandalwoody and a bit musky, and it has some gardenia in there, and there's some spiciness in there as well with like the ginger, and I do think there's pepper in it, though I don't get so much of that. It has cardamom, pepper, ginger, yeah. I just love this fragrance in general. It's also quite a unique fragrance for designer fragrances. It's quite unique. And yeah, I really loved wearing this at the end of summer. So there you go. If you have experience with any of these fragrances, let me know. Of course, I will link all of these down below, and I will put in a little asterisk next to the ones that were received in PR, just for full disclosure. Though I'm totally honest with you guys, fragrances that I receive that I don't really like, they don't usually end up making it on my channel. I don't talk about them, and I'm really happy that I can talk about fragrances that I receive in PR that I might not have otherwise bought, you know what I mean? But yeah, but I do want you to be able to make your own choices, and full disclosure, I will always let you know which of these have been sent to me. And of course, some of these Maïssa has a support code, which means I don't think I make any kind of commission. I don't make any commission off it, but they will see that I influenced you to buy it, I guess. And Nuit Nomade, I do have a code that is both a support code, but is also, I do get a commission on that. But I highly, highly recommend Nuit Nomade, and Nothing But Sea and Sky is my first love for sure, and I highly recommend it. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you also if you saw my previous video where I had a teary moment there, but also, you know, just was very honest with you guys. So thank you for holding that space for me here as well. And until we see each other again, take care of yourself, and I'll see you very soon.